Welcome to our July garden tour. We're going to be showing you our flower bed, the porch, and our backyard garden. Even if you have a small space, you can grow beautiful flowers, herbs, and veggies. Isn't this gorgeous? My name is Marlene. Let's go ahead and get started. So, we're going to start off first with a flower bed. And it's not very large, but you can still do a lot even with small spaces. Over here, this would be my gladiolus, and this is the first time that I planted this one, and I just love the way it came out. And what I like about it too is that not just that it's two-tone, it also has a little edge, like a darker edge, and that it actually matched what was on the package it came on, because sometimes it can be a little bit different than what they promised you. So that one was perfect. And I got it from Aldi, by the way. And those are my coneflowers. Something was eating them, so I put the trellis in, and it actually has been working because it was so much fluffier. This right here would be our Vinca, and we had a ton of rain for the last 2 weeks, so the leaves at the bottom are a little bit yellow because this plant does not like a lot of rain. It likes to be dry, so it's gonna green up, in a little bit. But this is so exciting for me because I've never grown Blackeyed Susans before. I've always admired them in other places. A fellow gardener of mine, she actually gave me just some cuttings in this little container back in the fall. They went to sleep in the winter. And in the spring, this is how they came up. And I thought to myself, are they going to bloom for me this year? They are from cuttings, so we'll have to see. Anyway, I transplanted them out in the flower bed, and this is how they were looking after a couple of weeks, right next to the coneflower on the right. You can see how they came up. Our coneflower has some myrtle blossoms on there. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But just take a look, guys, how they're coming over to the side. We had so much rain and wind, so they're coming over a little bit. So, I had to support them just a little bit until they perk up. On the left would be my Siberian iris. And this is what they look like when they were in bloom. And I always try to have something blooming for every month of the year as much as I possibly can. And this is the crepe myrtle over here. It's always so faithful. Every summer, no matter even if anything else isn't blooming, it will give beautiful blooms. And we're going to go ahead and go up to the porch to see what's going on up here. So that's my DIY wreath right there on the door. And these right here are some beautiful impatiens. And I just love how they fluffed out. And right above that would be the fern, and they look almost unreal. I'm going to water them though. I think they need a little bit of water, but they just look so beautiful and just almost like they're not real. They're gorgeous. I got those from Walmart. And in this video right here is a spring porch makeover. I showed you a step-by-step of how we went in and changed it over from winter into spring. And I'll go ahead and link the spring summer porch makeover playlist at the end, so you can take a look at it if you wanted to see the step-by-step. Just look how tiny the impatiens were, and look at them right now. So over here now we have some begonias, the one on the right. That one I overwintered it. I took it in when the blooms faded. I trimmed them back, brought it out when the weather was warming up, and look at that, guys. It looks beautiful. And this spot right here is total shade. That one I bought that one and planted it, and it's fluffed out so nicely. That was a part of the porch makeover video that you saw. So you can see that begonias will bloom for you in shaded areas. What I will say though, that this one over here gets a little bit more sun, so you can see it has more petals on there. But either way, your begonias, they will bloom in shady areas. So just take a look at how gorgeous those are. Hummingbirds like them, butterflies love them, bees love them. And sometimes I'll go in and just pinch off the spent blooms, deadheading them, but you don't always have to do that. If you don't, they'll still be perfectly fine. That's the versatility of that wonderful plant called begonia. And I love the way it looks, kind of like a cottage style right here, how everything came together. It's just so heartwarming to me because, that really is my favorite garden style, cottage style garden. And it's so good, to just do these DIY wreaths. You can just mix and match your colors, and it just pops so, so well. I'm going to move on over to the side now and take a look at my hydrangeas. Another faithful one again, had it for maybe about 15 years or so. And as you get into July, can get little sunspots here and there. But other than that, it does fan until it fades out. Over here we have the gladiolus. So this is another type that I've had, and I had these for a very long time. These ones are maybe about 5 feet tall coming up from the ground. So of course we have to, give them some support. But I just love that color as well too. So this is the other end of it, something that's a lot darker, and just, one tone. I just think they're so, so beautiful. Hummingbirds love them. Ants love them. Bees love them. They're just so gorgeous. And if you wanted to see a future video on gladiolus, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to take a look at it for you. So coming up next is going to be taking a look at the back patio and then the raised bed. But before we take a look at that, I just wanted to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to our channel if you've never done so before. We do garden tours, garden DIYs. We show you what's at the garden center so you can make, some good choices as far as what is out there. And if you haven't heard from us in a while, be sure to tap the bell twice so that you'll get notified. And thank you so much to our channel members. We really appreciate you so, so much. So just to say also, if you wanted to see plants that are great for shade, because sometimes shady areas can be a little bit hard to find flowers for that bloom, this video will be in the description box. You can check it out if you have a shady area that you're trying to find flowers for. So now we're on to the back patio, and over here it's flowers, herbs, and some strawberries. And these pillows right here, we got them on clearance before Old Time Pottery had closed, and they had some clearance, and we got those. I'm so glad we got them. And then over here, that was my blueberry bush. And just to say right here, this is a stock container from the dollar store. I have some lemon balm and some oregano in there, and I also had some squirrels digging in there, so I'm going to have to put something on that other side. Those are tomatoes right there. And over here, these are some Vinca that I recently planted. We had some chrysanthemums in there, but I took those out and put the Vinca in, and those are going to fluff out and look so nice. Now this makes me very happy right here. I did trim some of it back, but this plant, this Calibrachoa, the purple one, and the creeping Jenny, the Calibrachoa is an annual, so it was not supposed to come back, but it did, so that was a pleasant surprise. And the dusty miller you're seeing right there, the silvery looking ones, those are with the pansies in the winter. And then once it got too warm, I took the pansies out and put the begonias in there, and those are spreading out really, really nicely, so I like that. And then over there we have the rosemary, and right here we have some mint. So we have, lots of herbs back here. And we're going to go over and take a look at the ferns. The Boston fern is on the left, and the lady fern is right here. And both of these ferns, guys, they are volunteer ferns. We did not plant them. They grew, and I like them, so I kept them. And they are deciduous, so in the winter they go all the way down, they dry down, and we just trim them back about to 1 inch from the ground. And they fluff right out for us every spring, and boy, do I love it. And the more as the years go by, it fills in more, and it just fluffs out. So now we're going to go ahead and head on back over to the raised bed. And these are lots of beans right here, lots and lots of beans. In the recent video that I did, I'll link it at the end for you. We had so many beans. It was such a wonderful harvest. And, some herbs were on there as well too. And you can check that video out. And just to say, just a week after that, we got about 3 times the amount of beans that you're seeing here. My sister got some, and one of my neighbors got some, and they were so juicy and tender. Right over there, we have some Rose of Sharon right here. And I have an interesting, realization that came to me over time. The one on the left with the bee right there, it has a pink center and the white petals, and this one is purple. And this one right here, it never was a part of the, what we had back there. The purple one is the only one that we had. But it's, it's seeds. So what happened is the white one came afterwards, and now there is more of the white one. But it looks to me like the one that you saw first is a hybrid of the white one and the purple one. So it's just so interesting how these plants are, And I also recently found out that all parts of the Rose of Sharon plant are edible. The flowers are edible, the leaves are edible, and the young buds are edible. You can use the leaves to make salads, or, the flowers to make tea and all of that. So it's just such great information about these useful plants. And now we're over to the smaller raised bed where my tomatoes are. And these were a gift for us. And the basil, you can see how they are fluffed up and spread out. Even after the harvest, it's come back in. This was just like a week ago we harvested them, and here we are again. I'm letting them flower though. And the cosmos, they just started flowering, so it's going to be a lot more of these there to show. This is the first pink one that we're seeing here. And I did plant them from seeds, or, I sowed seeds. So they're doing very well, and we have some green onions over here. What I love about my garden is, also is when the birds come by. They'll come and because it's hot out there, it's been raining a lot. It still gets kind of warm sometimes in the evenings. They'll come and they'll drink the water from the bath. They'll take a splash around in there. It's always so interesting to see them. Back in the spring when my iris was blooming, this bluebird came by every single day, and I thought it was such a great camouflage. So, and he still keeps coming. So it's just wonderful to enjoy these birds and bees and butterflies. So, guys, let me know what was your favorite part of the garden tour. If it was the porch. And I think porches are so important because they tie, like your garden to your house. It's kind of like a transition and it's just very welcoming. So I really like that. And let me know, which is your favorite flower on here that you saw today. Or if you prefer, veggies and herbs and all of that, whichever one it is, I'd love to hear from you. And I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much again to our channel members and those of you that, share our videos out and come back time and time again. We appreciate you so, so much. And if this is your first time here, we hope you'll consider subscribing so we can journey along on this wonderful path of gardening. And leave you with a few of the flowers and the birds and the butterflies and the bees. Thank you all so much for watching. Happy gardening, happy summer, and I do hope to see you in the next one. Take care.